Level 8, Lesson 2. Third conditional. The third conditional talks about the hypothetical past. It describes something that didn't happen and imagines the results. This form of conditional is most often used to talk about regrets and how we imagine things to have gone differently. The third conditional consists of an if clause and the result clause. The if clause uses the past perfect. The result clause uses would have plus past participle. Unlike the first conditional, the result clause is not always a direct result. Yet, it describes a possible effect of or a choice based on the condition presented in the if clause. If plus past perfect, would plus have plus past participle. Third conditional, if clause. If it had rained on your wedding, result clause. What would you have done? If we had known better, we wouldn't have bought the car. If you had fallen in love with someone else, would your life have been very different? Notes: there is a comma after the if clause when it comes first. The clauses are not fixed. They can change positions. Third conditional, then clause. What would you have done? If clause. If it had rained on your wedding day. We wouldn't have bought that car if we had known better. Would your life have been very different if you had fallen in love with someone else? Note: in these cases, you don't use a comma. If you hadn't paid your credit card on time, the company would have charged you a fine. If I hadn't called you, would you have told me your news? If he had studied harder, he wouldn't have failed. If we had come on time, you wouldn't have had to wait for us. If they had washed their dishes after dinner, Mom wouldn't have been so angry.